Doubt and suspicion and hesitation can prevent people from forming trusting relationships or can cause them to break down. This is really important because if we do things in our lives that cause other people to mistrust us, we can't possibly ask for trust. We can't possibly do that. If you're sneaking around, if you're doing things like on the sly, if you're hoping to not get caught, and I'll share with you a trigger. If you're ever in a situation where you start preparing what you're going to say if you get caught, you probably should not be doing that thing. And I want you to use that as a trigger and just stop and say, if I get caught doing this thing, here's the reason why I'm doing it, and then be really honest about why you're doing it. And if it's not something that you should be doing, then please stop doing it, right? But if you're making that conversation up with, oh, okay, so here's my story. Let me get my story straight in my head. Stop doing that already, okay? Instead, go back and say, here's the truthful reason why I'm doing this. I'm insecure. I felt bad about myself. Here's what I thought I'd do to make myself feel better, or whatever it was, and be honest about your reasons why. And then be very clear moving forward that you're not going to give any reasons for people to mistrust you, right? I remember after I got married, oh, this is so weird. After I got married, I came in one night. My husband is there on my phone, and he's like looking at my text messages. And I was like, can I help you find something? And he was like, no, I was just trying to see what time it is. No, you're not. What are you doing on my phone? Well, I was looking at your text messages. And I said, why? He said, because I wanted to see who you talked to during the day. And I said, okay, stop right there. Stop right there. We need to have this conversation. Okay. And this is one of those confrontation conversations that you have to have. And I said, I will never give you a reason to mistrust me. Okay. I will never do that. But I run a business, and I talk to lots of men, and I talk to lots of women, and there are lots of weird messages on my phone, and there always will be. Okay. So all day, every day, I have meetings with men and women. I have conversations with them. I send them texts back and forth. That will never change. Okay. So that is me running a business. I hope that's okay. And I hope that you don't feel like you have to check all of my messages because there's something sneaky going on. I will never do anything that causes you mistrust. And let's make an agreement right now. Here's the backup plan. Remember how we said with the friend that had the toddlers, we make a backup plan to make it safe? If in the event I ever decide that I'm not happy in this relationship and I decide to go somewhere else, I'll come to you first and I will give you the first right of refusal. I'll tell you, hey, things are not working out here. Is it okay if I move on? Right? I will give you first right of refusal, and you can say, no, let's make this work. Let's go to a counselor. Let's do whatever we got to do. I won't be sneaking around on you, and I won't be pulling any fast moves because I respect our friendship that much. Is that fair? And he said, yes, that's fair. Boom, that ended it. And I've never had a problem with him again, right? There was never any suspicion or sneaking around or looking over my shoulder or calling and checking up on me. None of those things, right? You have to set those boundaries right up front, and you have to be really clear and really honest, because if we want people in our lives, and we do, I promise we do. If we want people in our lives, we have to be the kind of person people can trust. And we have to be the kind of person that's willing to have those tough conversations, because we cannot build trust if people are suspicious of us, or if we're sneaking around, or if we're evading them. Like sometimes here's what happens. This happens a lot in families where like one of the parents has a hoarding house and then the kids never come to visit. And they're like, I wish my kids would come visit. But it's the kids call again. They say, hey, how you doing? And the parent says, I'm fine. When they're not fine, I'm heartbroken that you guys never come to see me. I wish you would come see me. I wish we could have these tough conversations. I wish we could have a healthy, trustful relationship, and that you would accept me as I am, because I'm not ready to change my living situation yet. What if you were to come right out and say that? What if you were to come right out and say, I know that I have an issue with stuff. I have a shopping addiction, or I have a saving shoes addiction, or whatever it is. I'm not ready to change that yet, but my relationship with you is really important. Is it possible we could still have a relationship where we met, either walk and talk, like we could go walking out on the street, we could go jogging together, we could meet for a Sunday brunch, or we could still have a meaningful relationship where you are not judging me because of my stuff? And your child might say, yes, that's fine. I really want to have a relationship with you, but when I come to your house, it makes me really sad that you live this way, right? A lot of times that's the care and concern that we're getting from our family. But what happens is it doesn't come out that way. And then both parties are kind of isolated from each other and both are angry at the other person. And there's no tough conversations happening and there's no resolve.